What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 2 a.m. in Sweden, aka We Got Next. I'm one of your hosts of the show, Hayes, aka El Shifty, with the one, the only. I guess we're gonna go with Steven at Steven underscore Springs, the guest of the show, the co-star of the show, the co-host of the show, the one that is very excited and mad at the same time on the show. How you been?
Um, I'm hurt. Multiple reasons. Um, I did not watch the game at all last night. I didn't watch a single snap of the game. I saw the highlights on Twitter a couple times. I had no intentions of watching the game anyways, and I'm glad I didn't. So I stayed away from it as much as I could today. A, my kids were home. B, my wife has the stomach flu. Both my kids are sick. I'm still recovering from my illness. This is just one of those waves that comes into our house, and it's annihilating a lot of other friends of ours as well. So, it's just a rough patch for the fan. But we're here, and now that football season's over, well, college football season's over. I might start watching the NBA again, or you know, you dropped a lot of questions for me before. Have I been paying attention to this, and this? And the answer was no, no, and no. So, what's first on the list? What do we got?
All right. So to start things off, for anyone that heard me talk last year, I said there's a lot of big things coming in 2025. Like I have a lot of vision and thoughts for the show. So I had the time to talk with like plenty of different people. I told you that different people around the world, one gave their suggestions on how I can fix my part of the show. And then I was talking to some other people. I talked to my brother as well, just because one, the views, I was like, yo, our views definitely can continue to grow. But the way people have grown their show is by the annoying way I never thought we would ever have to get to. So, the thumbnails you see when they're like, and it's like, Jimmy Butler's going to the Golden State Warriors, and it's made up, but yet they'll get like a million views and stuff like that. So the main thing that I'm going to start working on is working with different editors and artists. One, so that we can get different thumbnails to end up putting on the background. We have, of course, like the pictures that we have, but we'll start to work on thumbnails. I'm going to also start to get more creative with the different names. But my goal is, if not in a full-time capacity, but maybe in a part-time capacity or per video capacity, I'll get some sort of editor. My brother was like, far too many people for you to have to do some of the stuff yourself. He's like, the different people in like the crypto world, you can reach out to the Fiverr people, and then you can also like reach out to different people I know. So we're gonna go that route, and we're gonna start having different thumbnails. So if anyone sees that, that's why. But then also different names. So we'll start to end up growing it this year, because I have a dream or a vision of how many subscribers we can get this year. And I've seen other people similar to us that have grown. So I'm also going to work with them to see if they'll come on our show, and one of us will end up like hopping on their show. Like I've seen different people in like the fantasy football world. I've seen other people that I've just chopped it up with in terms of sports, and it's kind of worked what they're doing. So we'll kind of like blend it and start to continue to grow our show. So that's like the main thing and like a main focus. The thing I want to talk about to start is the TGL. And I'm saying this not from a standpoint of how much have either of us been following it, but the TGL and Unrivaled are two different things that we're not going to dive into it, but more so, they're kind of spin-offs of the professional sport itself. Number one, with the TGL, on a high level view, what are your thoughts on it?
That's what Tiger Woods, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's all you need. And his son was in it. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like there's just too much of this type of stuff. Like, I get that's kind of where we're at with the world, and people want more and more of everything. But we don't need that much. It's just they're just doing it on a golf simulator, right?
Correct.
Like,
And
am I
that's
am I missing it?
no, you're correct.
Like, I mean, like, why do we need that? What channel is it on? What service is it on?
I'm pretty sure it's on ESPN, because so the only reason why I know, for anyone that's wondering how I know this stuff. So yesterday in the gym, we have two TVs in one of our main gyms, and I turned them both to put on the game. How I know that TGL is on ESPN, because nobody else touches the TV but me. And I was like, I saw Scott Van Pelt earlier today, so it has to be ESPN still. But it could be a different network at that. But yeah.
Like, I just don't know. Like, I just don't know why we need it. Like, is it? I also just have not. I just stopped paying attention to things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if it's because I was so wrapped up in the college football season, and then I was so depressed over the last 10 days since Penn State lost that I just didn't even care to pay attention to it like anything else. I didn't pay a lick of attention to anything going on in the DC area yesterday. Could give two shits less about that. And you know me, could care two shits less about that.
Mm-hmm.
I also was getting over bronchitis, so I've been taking some NyQuil and some Mucinex at night, and I'm like, your boy's out and within an hour. I'm like, as soon as we're done with this, the what you got might be me walking over to the cabinet and getting some Vicks NyQuil, and your boy's gonna be out before we even log off. So, I see it on social media, I see it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Like, it's hard to miss it unless you just completely fall off the earth and just delete things, or just you intentionally not go on it. But that's hard to do. Because there is so much going on in the world, so much shit. But I don't know. I just it's almost like you have to pay attention for the purposes of these conversations, and this isn't like barbershop talk. Like, barbershop talk is you go in, you talk about the game from last night. You don't talk about the TGL.
No, I don't think people are doing that.
It's just it's to fill airtime. Now next Tuesday, I'm sure we'll talk about the games and more extensive and Super Bowl matchup, and maybe we'll dive into the NBA more since the NFL season's winding down. But I feel like there's just so much shit that they're just forcing at us in terms of sports, and just trying to fill airtime on the networks, Hulu, Prime Video, Peacock, whatever the hell it is. Just a lot, dude. It's a lot to what do we even know what the TGL is? It's just it's a golf league.
That's really all it is.
I can go do that in my boy's basement.
Thank you.
But they come out dressed as just they're ready for the first tee.
They have sponsorships and everything.
They come out dressed like they're ready for the first tee at Augusta.
Yeah.
This is it's it'd be better if they had a golf league that was professionals, all the PGA guys or the LIV guys. If LIV Golf would allow them to drink on the course. If they had beverage carts, with some 30-year-old busty blonde, yeah, bro, that shit I would watch it probably. If you allow these guys if they're allowing them to do what John Daly does on a consistent basis, I'd probably watch that shit a lot more. If they I saw Tiger's intro for the TGL, which was whatever. I love Tiger, but come on, if you walked out with a 6-pack, or him and Charlie walked out with a keg or something like that, just spice it up a little bit. But it's just too much that they're forcing at us, and it's just a lot to pay attention to, and no one likes paying attention to that kind of stuff.
No. So that was kind of one of the topics I wanted to talk about. The other one, just on the flip side, is we'll segue into the college football really quick, but for numerous different things. Number one, with Ohio State, they clearly beat Notre Dame. Anyone that is surprised by it, I don't know why. I don't even want to talk about Ohio State. I want to talk more about Notre Dame for two different components. It's going to be overshadowed as to what happened to Notre Dame, because there was one beautiful throw that Leonard did to the back of the end zone on the left side. I doubt you saw it, but that was one thing. The other thing is, for anyone that watched the game, there was one play, and this is when you knew that Ohio State was done. I mean, Notre Dame was done. Nobody, you could tell they were man. The corner legit was pointing at Jeremiah Smith, like, you signaled to the offense, like, you're in man. Like, if you're sliding over, clearly no one's guarding him because you had to shuffle over. I talked to two people at work. You could definitely tell the levels of how much people know, because this one older dude was like, I mean, he should have just slid over and guarded Jeremiah Smith. If you did that, then the other dude's going to be open. That's the whole point of man coverage. Like, needed someone else to go over there. Soon as they hiked the ball, you knew where it was going. He knew where it was going, but you have to stick to your assignment, because then if you slid over and then it was the other dude that got it, you would have been blamed. So you're damned either way, and it kind of is a blown coverage. So for anyone that doesn't know what a blown coverage is, that's your definition of a blown coverage in 4K right there. But do you feel as though Ohio State is going to be like this next year, number one? And two, there are like 3 different ranking polls that are out, and people have texted me all the different ones. What is the one you, Steven, you would follow right now?
It's always the AP poll. That's the only one that matters.
Okay.
And the AP poll, Penn State finished 5th in the final AP rankings, which was their highest since 2005. But the AP matters until early November, until the college football rankings come out. I will say Ohio State's not going to be this team next year.
No.
They have a ton of talent, but they are losing a lot. They had some pieces on defense coming back. Caleb Downs is coming back. He's only a sophomore. But like Trayvon Henderson, Judkins is gone. Jack Sawyer's gone. JT Tuimoloau is gone. Lathan Ransom is gone. One of their cornerback, I can't remember his name now. He's gone. A couple of their linebackers are gone. Offensive linemen, I think they're losing. Will Howard's gone, thank God. But like they brought those guys back for last night. They brought them back to win a national title. And that doesn't happen in college football. I mean, they paid $20 million in NIL to bring those guys back. So, you know, they bought a national title, but they brought those guys back. Penn State's doing that. They brought back everybody that they could. The guys that we lost, Abdul Carter, Tyler Ward, and Jalen Reed, those guys are NFL draft picks. Like Abdul Carter is going to be a top 5 pick. Tyler Warren's going to be a top 15 pick. Jalen Reed's probably going to be a 2nd round pick. So like you can't come back. Like if you're that dude, you can't come back. And I think the other two, I think Tyler Warren and Jalen Reed were actually out of eligibility anyways. But we brought back that's the only reason why we're bringing guys back, is because we have a great chance of winning a national title next year. We'll probably be a top 3 team heading into the season next year. But Ohio State, they were. I hate Ohio State more than anything. Obviously, my name, I can't, there's no team I hate in sports more than Ohio State. But at the same time, I can acknowledge how great they are. I've been seeing it for the last, 20 years of my life. So I know how great they are. They've been one of the best teams all season. Again, they brought everyone back for a reason. Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, Trayvon Henderson, Emeka Ibuka, all those guys could have gone to the league and they would have been 1st, 2nd round picks easily. But they came back for a reason. And last night was our reason, and they did it. So Notre Dame had no shot. The game was the score. The score wasn't as close as the game, as the highlights that I saw and what everybody was talking about. It kills me that Ohio State won a national title. Kills me that Ryan Day has a national title before James Franklin does. And I'm surprised it took them this long, to be honest with you, because they're one of the top 3 teams, top 4 teams every year. But those guys came back for a reason, and that was the reason. I don't think they're going to be. They're still going to be good. They're not going to have happen to them what happened to Michigan this year. Win a national title and just completely fall apart. And Michigan was like 7-5, I think, the end of the season 7-6. Ohio State's not going to be that team. At worst, maybe they go 10-2, which is like you can still make the playoffs, the 12-team playoff, but they went 10-2 the regular season this year. So they're not going to be like they have a ton of talent. They have one of the best recruiting classes coming in. I think maybe if not the best. So like they're still going to be there. Like it's Ohio State. They're not going anywhere. But the togetherness of this team, the like why they played like for this season, like what they played for, it was only to win a national title. And like if they didn't win it, it would have been a complete failure for that team. Same thing next year, like with Penn State, for example. If they didn't win a national title next year, that's a big thing. But no, Ohio State's not going to be the team next year that they were this year. No way. But they'll still be there in the end. Like they'll make the playoffs and they'll make a run because they have so much talent. Jeremiah Smith's only a freshman.
Talent, he's special.
Which is nuts, but they are losing a lot, so they won't be nearly as high profile. But I mean, you're going to learn these names pretty quickly, and it's just the next wave of Ohio State players. So 2 years when Jeremiah Smith's a junior and some of those other guys that he's coming up with, that's probably when they'll make another run. But no, they're not going to be with that team next year. I don't think. I hope not, at least. I mean, Jesus Christ, I need a year off.
Yeah. So kind of two things with that. Number one, I do, as much as some people hate to say it, I will admit it. I do like the NIL for this reason, because you can almost guarantee Ohio State's not going to run it back. If this was before the NIL, you might have Alabama doing the same thing again. Like year after year, Alabama could potentially do it. But because of this, it's like, all right, or I don't think Oregon's going to do it, because Oregon reminds me a lot of Gonzaga at this point in men's basketball.
And like another thing is like I hate Ohio State, but they were super smart about what they did in NIL. They brought in Caleb Downs, someone from Alabama.
That was
Nick Saban leaves. Like it's a whole thing. But like that's a missing piece on your defense that you need to replace. Okay, well, let's go get the best defensive player in the country potentially in Caleb Downs as a true freshman. Let's bring him in. Trayvon Henderson, banged up throughout his Ohio State career. Okay, well, let's see if we can maybe snag someone from the transfer portal or lure someone away from another school. And they got Judkins from Ole Miss to split those carries, and it worked out well. All right, well, we need a quarterback. Like we don't need a Heisman caliber quarterback. Will Howard was not going to be that guy, but we just need that guy that's going to make some plays here and there. And again, it's very simple, a very simple breakdown of football. It's 4, 5, 6 plays a game that you need to make that the other team's not going to make. And I said that after we lost Ohio State. They made the plays that we didn't. Notre Dame made the plays that Penn State didn't. Ohio State made a ton more plays against Notre Dame than Notre Dame did. It's just that simple. They needed some guys to fill some holes, and they went out and got them. So I can't knock it. It sucks, and I'm going to complain about it, and I'm going to be depressed about it until we beat them, in Columbus, November 1st. I'm just saying. But I mean, I give them credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
As much as it kills me to say that and give Ohio State credit for winning a national title, there's they did what the rules allowed them to do. And there are no rules. So that it allowed them to spend $20 million, go out and get these players for what? A national title, dude. That's all that matters. That is the only thing that matters. You can go out and spend 1 year, $20 million on a all pro D end or a receiver or whatever. If you win a Super Bowl, it's worth $20 million.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. That's all that matters. All that matters.
Yeah. So that's kind of the main thing I wanted to bring up. The next thing that we'll start to go into, since the championship game is over, is the NFL draft. We won't start to talk about that probably until right around the combine. That's the big time when we start to talk about the different players that are going to the draft. And then after that, we'll start to end up saying who we think our special players are from the NFL draft. We'll do the same thing we just did this past year. We'll do that. But we have to go to the big leagues, and we're going to probably take, so we're trying to keep this show to 40, 45 minutes usually. So we're going to take like 10 minutes almost to just talk about the NFL playoffs that just happened last week. So we're going to also let Steven get the floor as well for a special time he wants to talk about. First game, I think it could be super quick. The Texans Chiefs. That
you can say what you want about the rest. The Chiefs are just, they're really good. And the Texans, I mean, it was a close game, but Chiefs make the plays when they need to make them, and that's it.
Every single time. The next game, I don't know if you watched it. I for sure had a lot of stake on this game. The Lions Commanders. Thoughts, reactions?
Yeah, so I was at a charity event on Saturday night at a restaurant in our neighborhood. But it was a lot of Commanders fans because a lot of local people. So obviously they had it on. I did watch it. Very surprised.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to make of it. Like, are the Commanders really that good? Or because it looked like it, but or are the Lions, a bunch of frauds? Which I wouldn't say that. The NFC North is a bunch of frauds though this year. I'll tell you what.
All of them. All
Gone like crazy. That's wild.
Yeah.
All three of them, and they were all double-digit win teams. Gone.
Yes. Yeah.
Gone. I mean, shout out to the Commanders, dude.
Shout out.
They look really good. Jaden Daniels does not look like a rookie. My man has to stop running though. My man's gotta be careful. They look good, dude. Dan Campbell's got those dudes. Doing that. Dan Quinn has those dudes playing really well. Now, going into Philly, I haven't seen the forecast for the game. I hope it's a clear game, but I don't know, bro. I don't know what the expectations now are on the side of Commanders fans. If they went from here,
25, high at 38.
Snow or no?
No snow.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know, if the Commanders fans went from okay, if we lose, that's kind of what we're expecting against the Lions, to all right, we can beat the Eagles.
That's
gonna be great. It's gonna be a great game because it's a NFC East matchup, right down I-95. That's gonna be a great game, but it's in Philly, and man, the way Saquon is running the ball, bro, he just looks different. He looks like he's the best player in the league, as he has been pretty much all season.
Yeah. So, a couple of different things with this one. Number one, the person from start of the season to the end of the season, although he has some takes that are out there, Steven said it. He's drafted him first overall fantasy football. Granted, yes, Penn State fan, but still, Saquon start to finish has been the best. That O-line has been great. Have I been hearing a lot of Commanders fans or different fans out there saying that the Commanders can beat the Eagles? Yes. Can they? Yes. But we don't necessarily know. We don't have enough tape to determine, because the first game, Eagles won. Second game, Commanders won, but Hurts had a concussion. So you almost have to wash that game out.
This is one of those games where neither fan base really trusts their team.
No, absolutely
this is such a good matchup of teams that don't trust their teams in any capacity.
Yeah.
Eagles fans, I mean, you're an Eagles fan, and you can obviously speak on that. But Commanders fans haven't been here in decades.
Yeah.
Since a lot of us have been around, so they don't even know. You had the RG3 little in and out, but that was nothing. But this is different. But do they trust that they can win a big game like this? I mean, Saturday night was a big game, and they won that one. The Eagles
too,
but I feel like Eagles fans hate their team, even though they watch Saquon run for over 200 yards in the snow. And those fans hate Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has to throw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns against Commanders for him to get back on their good side. It's crazy, dude. It's the best game of fan bases who don't trust their team for completely different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. So
hey, but what also sucks though is that you don't have to worry about those Lions tickets or the ticket prices, bro.
Oh my God. I was in a bar and I was like, all right, there's no way this game is about to go the way it is. And so it's crazy because inside of me, I want to support and cheer for the Commanders. They've done nothing wrong. They've only been good. But then you got your money on the line. And I'm thinking, you are just watching it dwindle right down. You're thinking maybe they'll come back. Then the Commanders do something. And I'm like, the Commanders aren't doing anything special. They just know how to outsmart you. Like Cliff Kingsbury is a certified offensive coordinator. You kind of see what it is. Chip Kelly, certified offensive coordinator. You saw what he did with Ohio State. It just happens with some of these people. And then you're just reading tape. That's all they did. They found out what the Lions are not good at. And the thing that concerns me is, number one, perked up Jalen better do some stuff this next game, because whatever they shot him with, rain, snow, sleet, or hail, we're gonna.
Wasn't I talking? I'm gonna sound like Kurt Angle. I mean, I don't know what he was talking about, dude. He doesn't know what he was talking about.
No, but the big thing for them is, one, they were saying you should put James Bradbury or somebody on Terry McLaurin. Absolutely not. Do not put, and I'd rather Quinyon Mitchell or somebody on Terry McLaurin. Big thing you need to pay attention to is Zach Ertz. I promise you, Zach Ertz is going to find a way to stick it to the Eagles. But we'll talk about that a lot after the game that happens, because there's so much on the line with that one. But I do want to talk about probably the best game of the weekend for so many different reasons, the Ravens-Bills.
Look, man, let it be known that I don't hate Lamar Jackson. Let it be known that I have nothing against Lamar Jackson. I have stated on this podcast, powered by StreamYard, multiple times. I think he's a top 5 player in the league. I think he's one of the best players in the league, regardless of position. He's that guy. We can go back and we can find the tape. This is one of those things where we need to get creative and we need to cut to multiple clips of me saying that Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in the league. We'll get there with this, but look, man, here's the deal. We can discuss Mark Andrews. We can talk about the drops. We can talk about the fumble. We can talk about, a bunch of different things. But strictly talking about Lamar Jackson, he just continues to put his team in bad spots. Like, he tries to do too much, or he just has costly mistakes that you can get away with during the regular season. But like in the playoffs, man, when you're on the road in Buffalo against a team like that, and like the Bills' game plan was very conservative.
It was.
They were not letting Josh Allen grip it and rip it for go over 300 yards, and that wasn't their game plan.
Under 200.
But you know who didn't make a mistake? Josh Allen. You know who had 0 turnovers? The Bills. You know who had 3 turnovers? The Ravens. You know who had 2 of them? Lamar Jackson. I get it, that last drive, but you shouldn't have been in that spot. He threw that pick in the first quarter. That was after they had drove down on the first drive and scored. Made it look easy. Bills came back and did the same thing. That next drive, he throws a pick, which was a dog shit play. It was a horrible read by Lamar Jackson. The Bills won 3 now. They didn't make it. They didn't take advantage of it. But that's a drive that was killed by a turnover. That's a possession that you don't get. That's it. And then the next possession for the Ravens, bad snap, yes. But you're trying to make something out of nothing when you're 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Just go down. I get it. You're Lamar Jackson. Chances of you making a big play out of that, that can happen. We've seen him do it, but you can't take that risk in the playoffs. And then fucking shout out to Damar Hamlin.
Shout out.
He made that tackle, and Lamar drops it, and Von Miller scoops it up, and the Bills score a touchdown. And that's 7 points right there. That's 7 points because the Bills weren't they weren't moving up and down the field easily. They were. It was a conservative game plan. Run the ball, keep them short passes, keep Lamar off the field, and maybe put a couple scoring drives together and make him throw the ball and force him to do some things. Because when Lamar is forced to do things, it doesn't go well. And there was also no design runs by the Ravens for Lamar, which was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that doesn't even. I don't know how that happens, but like, I like Lamar. Seems like a great guy. One of the best players in the league. Probably going to win a third MVP. He shouldn't, but he's probably going to. But like he puts his team behind the 8 ball every postseason, every time, and it forces the hand on the defense to make a play. Like Von Miller scooped that ball up. At worst, the Bills get 3 points out of that, but they got a touchdown. And like, it's just, I mean, and we can talk about what happened with Mark Andrews and the drop and the fumble, and like, I think the Bills scored a field goal off of the fumble he had. So that's 10 points right there. That's 10 points that you had off of 3 turnovers, and the Bills again had 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, it's just like, there's an emergency situation going on at Kristen's end of things. I don't know. That's fire, EMS, police department, whatever, dude. It doesn't matter where you live at, dog. I swear to God, it does not matter where you live. They're always there. But I mean, again, it's the same thing every postseason. And like, yes, Lamar, like, yes, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, yes, they make mistakes. But like, again, there's 4 or 5 plays a game that you have to make. Like every single game that you have to make. And Lamar Jackson does not make those plays. Mm-hmm. And you know, Josh Allen, it might just be like a 3rd down conversion late in the game to keep possession or keep the clock moving or move the chains and whatever. But like, those guys make those plays. That touchdown pass that Mahomes threw as he was falling down to Travis Kelce. That's one of those plays, dog. Like that, like Lamar Jackson just doesn't make those plays. He makes them in the regular season, but he just doesn't make them in the postseason. And like, it doesn't matter who you put up against, like who you put, like Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry alone is not winning you a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like I get it why you bring him in so it takes some of the pressure off, but like you are the quarterback of this team. You are the most important position in all of sports, and you have to make the plays. Derrick Henry is not touching the ball every single play. Derrick Henry is not, throwing passes. He's not. And I gotta give a shout out to my old roommate Daquan Jones, who is a D tackle for the Bills. On that possession that Lamar fumbled it, the first play was supposed to be a toss to Derrick Henry. But my boy, Daquan, pushed the center back into Lamar, and he tripped over him. Remember that play? He tripped over him. My boy, Daquan, made that play. And that started that little setback. But look, I don't hate Lamar. He just doesn't make plays. That's it.
Yeah.
Like he makes plays for the other team every postseason, and that's it.
So my only 2 things that I'm going to say about this, and then we'll move on to another sporting topic. That last play of the game, if anybody has ever watched any tape or any Ravens game in the past, number one, I was watching it. Where was I? I think I was with my brother, and I was somewhere, and I saw the game happening, and I was like, none of this matters. Like, the touchdown doesn't matter because they don't know how to convert those 2-point conversions. They've shown 3 different times to the same person. Me personally, the one who I feel it should have gone to, Isaiah Likely. But of course, you're going to go with your go-to person who you just trust through thick and thin. This might be the last year that they rely on him for these situations, which I don't know what you do, but you also probably need to bring in a top-tier receiver. The only thing that sucks is they didn't have Zay Flowers as well. Is that who you go to in that situation? Probably not, because he's not big enough. But I personally would have said, put Isaiah Likely in that. You're going to have to go to him sometime or another, or he's going to go to the market and get top dollar. So you got to figure out which way you're going to go with that one.
They've won that play so many times in the past 3 seasons, and he drops it every time.
Every time, but he's open. Half of the time,
every time, bro.
Open. Everyone knows what's happening.
It's just such a nitpicky thing, but like, it happened in the Steelers game.
Yeah, I remember that
last season or 2 seasons ago. Bad pass by Lamar. I can't put it all on Mark Andrews. Like, the common person will see that, and the ball is right in his hands, right to him. Like it is, he's going 100 miles an hour to try and turn. Like again, he should catch it. That's his job. Your job is to catch the ball, weather aside. You have to catch that ball. But Lamar, like whatever. That's a whole other conversation about ball placement and that kind of shit. But
So
yeah,
last thing I'll say with that is
every time he drops it, crazy.
it was either Phil Sims or Chris Sims that analyzed it on Up and Adams. And he said that if you pay attention to the play, everyone's going to think it's Mark Andrews that messed it up. But there was like a super quick double clutch hesitation from Lamar. And if he would have just let it out right away, would it have made him catch it? I don't know. But it's like it would have given him a different situation. They both saw it. They both knew where it was going. But Lamar kind of went like, and then he threw it. And if it would have been,
that's like a yard and a half. And like that yard and a half, like if Mark Andrews catches that ball, maybe he like doesn't get a chance to like catch it and like turn into the end zone. Like it's again, we can spend an hour talking about the ball placement and shit like that. But I mean, I was happy to see it because fuck the Ravens, but
yeah,
and I was obviously I had tons of tweets saved and bookmarked, and my drafts were ready to go. I was ready to fire away, bro. But I held off a little bit, but I was ready to go.
So Super Bowl pick, and then we'll move on. The Eagles and the Commanders. Who you got?
I'll go Eagles. I just don't think the Commanders can stop Saquon, and I think a huge X factor in this game is going to be Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith.
Yes.
Those two, Jalen Carter won the game for them, and Nolan Smith has been playing out of his mind the last 6 weeks.
Agreed. For anyone that knows me, I'm going with the Commanders. So of course. I got the Commanders in that one. Now going to the other side. I didn't bring it up when we talked about the Bills-Ravens game, but I'll start this one off. So I talked to so many of my buddies, different people that I talked to about finance things, sports things, even people at work. If there is one person that I have confidence in and trust in that he can beat the Chiefs, it is Josh Allen. That's maybe the only person. And I say that because the same way Lamar Jackson is having struggled getting over that hump in the playoffs, I really do believe that Josh Allen can end up doing this during the playoffs. He's had to play them so many times. They made a new rule for the Chiefs and Bills. If Josh Allen almost wants to solidify anything he's ever done, it's right now. So I'm going with the Bills. I already told two of my friends I'm probably going to put unhealthy money on this just because the Bills have to do it. If they don't do it this year, there's no year that it's really going to happen. So who do you have?
I got the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I just can't. Even if it was in Buffalo, I just. Again, Mahomes could go for, 154 and a touchdown and 3 picks, but that one touchdown comes at the end of the game with 10 seconds left. It's just we've seen them in every possible scenario. It seems like over the last 6 years where they could easily lose a game and they don't. Now I will definitely agree with you. If there's any team that can do it, it is the Bills. Mm-hmm. And I think they have more confidence this year to do it than they have in years past. I think Josh Allen is a year better, a year more confidence. I think their defense banged up, but I think their defense is more confident. If it was in Buffalo, I would still pick the Chiefs, but I think it would be closer. We can talk about the refs, I guess, as a component of this game, of course, and everyone's going to analyze that to the nth degree when the game is over with. But I just can't pick against the Chiefs. I also think, and I want the Chiefs to win because I look at these games from a historical perspective as a sports fan, as a historian, someone who loves the game. I know you think this way sometimes. Mm-hmm. I love the history of the game. That's why I always pick the Pats. I don't hate the Pats. I hated them one season when they beat the Steelers in the AFC title game back in 2005. I could give two cents less about them the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them win every single year. Like right now, the Chiefs are on a roll. They've won back to back. They're potentially going to win 3 in a row, which is something that's such a rare thing. I want them to win. Like if they were playing the Steelers, that'd be different. But like, not that I don't like the Bills, but like, yes, I would love to see Josh Allen get one. But as a sports fan, as like a sports junkie, and like someone who loves the history of the game, I want to see the Chiefs win again.
Yeah. So I can see that. Between our matchups for the Super Bowl, Stevens would be the box office market matchup that the media wants to see, the Eagles and the Chiefs, for so many different reasons. The matchup, which I know is not going to happen 100%, I've told people, they're never going to let the Bills and Commanders play. One of the two got to lose. Like, nobody's going to really watch that unless you're an avid, like, football connoisseur. If you're just a regular person, you do not care about these two. Nobody out there.
Imagine if Jaden Daniels wins a Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson does in the DMV. Oh my God. Oh my God. I would be so happy. That would just make my day.
Sign him to a max contract off the first year.
That'd be a great that'd be like another one of those historic games though. Like Bills and the Commanders. That would be like again, it's the game that no one really wants to see. Just like no one wanted to see Ohio State, Ohio State, Notre Dame. But like in terms of like significance, like Bills have been there to the Super Bowl a bunch, 4 straight times, never won.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders, they had their run in the 80s. They're back now. So historically, yeah, it'd be a great matchup. But like ratings wise,
they would not care about it. So speaking of historical things, I want to switch to our final topic before we get into the what you got. And this is kind of my little segue for us to start talking about the NBA. I personally do believe the OKC Thunder can win a championship or get to the finals within the next 6 to 7 years. Reason why I say this, Steven, I went down the huge rabbit hole.
Oh boy.
The Oklahoma City Thunder hold 32 NBA draft picks until 2031. You can make so many mistakes and still
be okay.
Gold. They have 5 first-round picks this draft. 5. You know, you can package that if you want to for a top-tier player.
Multiple picks. Mm-hmm.
The ones, here's the craziest part about it all. Their pick that they got from the Sixers is a top 6 protected pick.
Mm-hmm.
The pick that they got from the Rockets or the Clippers is a top 10 protected pick.
And that's the thing. They a lot of them are protected picks.
That's the part, yes.
That's the big thing. They're all protected. Not all of them, but I think most of them are protected.
The pick from the Jazz, top 10 protected pick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 right there. If you don't want to use them, you can trade them. Hell, at this point, the Sixers don't look like they're great. The Jazz, that's easily going to be a great pick for them, regardless of how the marbles shake out. If you can even get 2 solid players in the draft this year, or hell, you can trade for somebody, that's one thing. 2026, you have 2 first-round picks. 2027, you have 3 first-round picks. 2028, 2 first-round picks. 2029, 2 first-round picks. 2030, a first-round pick, 3 second-round picks. 2031, you own your own first-round pick. Other part to this is Sam motherfucking Presti. He is one of those people. The rabbit hole I went down was, one, he's a Virginia person and a Massachusetts person. He went to Virginia Wesleyan and he also went to Emerson College, Massachusetts. The second part to this is, before he was on the OKC Thunder, number one, he got the OKC Thunder job at the age of 28 or 29 years old. Only in sports does that happen. And he just rides it. Before then, he was on the San Antonio Spurs as the assistant general manager. You're telling me you were on the Spurs and then you went to the OKC Thunder. And I had to talk to my mom about this. Only network and who you know. This is not off of your experience. This is who you know, that as soon as you got out of college, they're like, you know what? You're going to be the assistant general manager of the Spurs. The Spurs. During their run. Like, he has multiple rings with them. So he's looking to do that with the Thunder. And the thing is, the Thunder would love nothing more than to get new pieces like they used to have KD, and then you had Russell Westbrook. Mind you, he was a part of helping build that team. And he said, all right, we're going to run it back. I'm going to do this again. So that's kind of a big thing I want to talk about as we go
What's
forward.
their salary cap like? Like, it's
Uh,
just one of those scenarios where like they have all the picks. Like, I know they have all the picks, but like, but they, they're
see,
gonna.
none
But
of their people are on max contracts. Like these,
and it
half
won't
of them
be.
are rookie contracts.
And this is gonna be one of those scenarios of like, you keep Shea, you keep Chet Holmgren, like you keep those guys, but then you can bring in whoever you want as like mid-tier players, and you're gonna package draft picks, and like obviously they're not gonna use all those draft picks. They could and just build, but you're obviously gonna trade for some people because someone's gonna come available, and like you're gonna do it. You're gonna have a big three, and like I mean, again, the goal is to win a title, and like that's it. And like you're gonna do whatever it takes with those picks to win a title, and
Yeah.
like there's not that many like elite players coming up through the ranks in college basketball. There's some good players, but like you're trying to win now. So
Yeah.
like I'd imagine those picks are going to become package deals. Some of them they're gonna use them, of course, but like I'd imagine a lot of those are going to be package deals for some trade deadline guys for sure.
Yeah. So two things with that. Number one, the oldest person on the team is Alex Caruso. They technically are over the cap, but nobody cares about that. It's just the first apron and the second apron, a ton of space before the first apron, a ton of space before the second apron. That's for this season. And then kind of going into next year's salary, they're over the cap again, but their second biggest contract is Isaiah Hartenstein. You can legit, if you want to, cut that shit whenever. Like, of course, it's going to be dead money, but after you can just cut it. If you're going to get all these different draft picks, you don't necessarily need to keep him. Chet
Mm-mm.
is only going to be 13 million at that point, and then you
Mm-hmm.
go into 2026, 2027. That's where it's going to hit, and that's when they're going to start to cut people because Hartenstein's contract is one, Lou Dort is one, and then you got like random other ones. But
But then you
there's
can also
60
pawn those.
million.
You can also pawn those contracts off onto some other team
Yep.
who can pick them up, and then along with trading them, hey, we'll give you 2 of these first round picks and so's contract for so and so. And it's like, okay, especially like one of like those really shitty teams. I really wish the Pistons were in this kind of situation, but that's a different story.
So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about over there. Last thing we'll start with is what you got.
Nothing, dude. I'm just depressed. Ohio State won. My whole house is sick. You know, this is like nothing good going on. It's cold, snow. It's just like I'm done with it. The kids have been home for like 7 days in a row now. They already have a 2-hour delay tomorrow, which is some
For the
bullshit.
cold?
Yeah, like shit's frozen. I guess I don't know. Like I was out there today walking the dog. It's fine. Just put some salt down. Like if I can shovel my sidewalk and like it'd be good. Like what's holding you back? All the teachers went to school. They're not worried about the teachers falling on ice.
No, absolutely not.
So it's some bullshit. But I'm just depressed right now. I just want my house to be healthy, and I'm shocked I haven't coughed right now because once I'm done, once I close this up, I'm gonna go take some NyQuil. I'll probably be asleep by 10 o'clock. I just have a cough that's like lingering, dude, and it's just the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Like on top of everything that's gone on with Ohio State and then school being out, I'm just over it. But whatever. What do you got? Please be
Yeah.
something positive.
No, I got a couple of things. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week because your boy leaves for England on Thursday.
Obviously,
So
did I know about this?
yeah, because
Okay.
this is a trip I was looking forward to. So Saturday, I'm gonna go see. As anyone probably knows, I love my soccer. So Manchester City plays Chelsea. For anyone over here, they probably don't understand it that much, but I
Okay.
would say it's
Okay.
similar to like the ranks of seeing the Lakers or even seeing like the Warriors. Because Man City has one of the best players in the world in Erling Haaland, and then Chelsea's just one of those teams that have that prestige to it. So that's the one thing. Now, here's the crazy part why I brought this up for what you got. The process of buying a ticket there is totally different than buying a ticket here. Number one, for us, you can just go on SeatGeek, Ticketmaster, StubHub. They just send you the ticket. Over there, you can't resell tickets for higher than the amount that you bought it for.
Ooh.
So the big part about that is I purchased my ticket off of StubHub International. Number one, it's not fully affiliated with StubHub America. So that's kind of the first issue there. The second part is I bought it and then they show your email address to the person. So he sends me an email saying, hey, do you have an Android or an iPhone? Number one, why'd you email me? Like, we don't email here. I'm not going to email Steven and be like, hey, what do you have? I'm just sending the ticket and like, good luck. The second thing is, after I said iPhone, this man says, oh, here are the directions to end up downloading the ticket. Like, I included that how-to guide. Also, I included the ticket. Make sure you add it to your Apple Wallet and then you download it. But then after the game, you have to delete it so that I can update it for the next game. And I'm like, this just sounds like a scam. Like, what the hell is this? So I reached out to StubHub.
You're not going to the game, bro. You're going to you're going to some other two teams. You're not going to the real game. Sorry.
So then the crazy part about that is I ended up like reaching out to StubHub and they're like, no, he's a legit person. He's like one of our best sellers. So here's the ticket that I have.
Okay.
So it's legit right there. But the crazy part is I genuinely don't know. So as soon as I get there, I might have to just buy another ticket on the fly if they have them, because I'm over here thinking,
dog, yeah. I hope to God that they have a version of the homeless guys that are in wheelchairs asking for holding the sign that says I need tickets, or like the guys that's like holding the 2 tickets. Like, I hope they have a version of that. Because every game, every stadium in America has those guys. Every football stadium has those guys.
I need it.
Can't wait.
So
that's awesome.
The big thing with that is,
how long are you gone for, by the way?
So I leave Thursday, but I don't get there until Friday because they're 5 hours ahead. And then I come back Monday. So I'll be back here around like 3 because they're 5 hours ahead. So I'm going back in time. So we'll kind of see how that ends up.
It's a quick trip to England.
It is, yeah.
How the hell? Okay, this is gonna be all right. So this is gonna be a really dumb question, obviously, but like, I don't even want to ask this. I'll text it to you because I don't want to ask it on this.
Okay,
never mind.
That's the big thing that's coming up. I'll have tons of stories there because everyone's talking about you got to have a carvery. You got to end up having tea and crumpets. I don't care for tea and crumpets, but that's what they say. I know the people that I'm going to go meet out there are probably going to look at this and be like, why'd you say that? Don't worry. I'll figure out a way to make sure I enjoy everything when I'm over there. Until next time, I guess we got to end up doing it this way, but cheerios, mates.